Now this is more like it. See, one of the things I really like to do whenever I'm stressed out is I like to just escape from my situation. Well, not escape, actually, that's more harsh, but remove myself from the situation and get into my car. I've been doing this for quite a while, even when I was a toddler. The car is always one of my favorite places to be, my safe space, as you call it. So I know it kind of gets a little stressful here at times, especially during at school. And even back then, I didn't really have a car when I was in high school, so I only go to the best place I know best, and that happens to be my little small enclosed cave area. So one of the questions that I've been asked is, how do you deal with the stress of school? Well, school in itself, I'm pretty sure everyone kind of deals with it in their own terms. Whether you have autism or otherwise, school itself is very stressful at times. One of the ways that I deal with is go out and read. I'm a big career and I like to read books. Well, and another thing that I like to do that's quite small is I really like to write, and that happens to be writing a book. Whenever I'm feeling stressed at school, I just go on to my computer and then start typing away. Even before that, I just kind of just write in a little notebook and all that kind of stuff too. When these things kind of go on. Another way that deals with stress is, well, you're looking at it right now. See this hood? This is one way I get to kind of hide myself from other people is by wearing this hood. Very enclosed. It keeps you warm, and I think it's a very stylish trend too. So that's why I kind of like to do that. So, what are the ways that you like to deal with stress? Feel free to let me know in the comments down below. I really like to get know you and hear from you. Another question that I get quite a bit is, how can you help people meet their deadlines? And by deadline, I mean in their schools and all that kind of stuff, and not just on schools in general, but also in projects and other big things that go on, big events. Here's what I would say. Think of it this way. One of the things I really like to do is go to the arcades, and one of my favorite genre of games happens to be racing. And so there are many arcade racing tiles that the goal is to make it towards the finish line. But not only that, you have up here somewhere known as a time limit. So in arcades, you can't really play as long as you can, because otherwise that'll be a lot of quarters that you'll be using. But use 1 quarter, and you have the time limit, and the ultimate goal is to get towards the finish line before the time runs out. So think of deadlines as the time limit, so that's above your head, and it may be very intimidating. It may be pretty scary at first, but as long as you just step on that gas and start going super fast, and you'll make it towards the finish line, and it will be all over. It's done. You get to finish the job, finish the deadline, and just simply celebrate after the finish line. So think of it in terms of that. When it comes to deadlines, whether it be projects or schools or homework or even work and all that kind of thing. Even a good example too is that I have a deadline of publishing this video, because even videos have deadlines. How can you best communicate with them to find out what they need? This is what I get from parents. So, how do you best communicate with them to find out what they need? So, my mom, she would really like to ask me a bunch of times involving that. So, be giving a bunch of questions, especially on the computer, because I was a very visual learner back then, and so back then with the computers, everything that we typed, they would have little pictures that come up on each word. Like I can totally remember when we were having a Hot Wheels party, and we typed in Hot Wheels, and on hot, it's a bowl of soup with steam coming out. That represents hot, and then wheels. Well, that's kind of justifies itself on what wheels are. So I totally remember that kind of thing too. So this was kind of how we communicate for typing things out and seeing pictures here and there too. And I would even like point out the pictures of what I actually need for these kind of things too. So I wasn't really quite verbal for a while until I was 5, and then later on I was when I was a teenager. That's why I was able to make words much more clear as time goes on. And it's practice, that kind of thing too. I know that there are ways to communicate, whether it be the computer stuff I was talking about, or even art, because I always say that art is freedom, and that art is a good way of communication, that kind of thing too. Sometimes I kind of like to do videos by myself for a hobby, that kind of thing. That's kind of like one of my alternative ways of communication, but it's mostly in for fun kind of thing. So even when you're my age, you can still do that kind of stuff as well. And a couple more questions. So, how can you help them to prepare for changes? Now in school, there are a lot of really fun days that I'll be looking forward to, and fun really comes in the element of surprise. Unfortunately, when it comes to autism, the surprises aren't really as fun. I know you'll probably write in the comments and say, "Hey, you can't say that. We love surprises. You're kind of ruining the fun right there with the element of surprise." Well, that's okay. You can definitely say that, and I will definitely take it. But a lot of times in the topic of autism, it's like not a lot of people with autism really like surprises. When they see changes that happens, it kind of makes them quite agitated, not kind of thing too. It's like, what is going on? Why is things happening? So it's okay to tell them ahead of time. As for example, if it's opposite day, it's okay to tell them yesterday before the day. Say, okay, it's going to be opposite day. So that means people may call you by your last name first and then your first name, or you may see a lot of people wearing their shirts backwards or anything like that, and you'll see a lot of weird and strange things that go on. I remember back in opposite day too in kindergarten where I was so confused on what was going on, and people keep calling me McNamer Tyler, and I was like, no, I thought my name is Tyler at first. So it was kind of confusing. I mean, I was kind of slightly agitated on that kind of point, and didn't really know what to do. So if we could have done it all over, it would have been a good reminder of the day before, saying, okay, things are going to be a little bit different. So this is what's going on, and that's how we're able to prepare to make changes. So that's what I would say too. Is a day before, or even a few hours before. I would probably say like either 12 hours or something like that. For when changes are about to happen, and don't be afraid to be with them during the whole time too. When changes things happen, it'll only be just for the day. Okay, that's why they call it opposite day, not opposite week. Although that would be kind of nice too. To have a whole week just for it to be opposite. I kind of like it nowadays when people call me McNamer, kind of thing as the first thing that they say. So yeah, nowadays I'm really quite into the whole changes here and there. So it's really nice. Changes kind of come, and then there comes to a point where you kind of accept the changes and make use of these changes. How can you help people with autism make friends? Now, I actually made a whole video about this topic on how to make friends. It's over in the channel, and you can find it by clicking this video over there. So hopefully you get to learn about that. There are no limitations, only adjustments. Now, I'm not giving up on you, and please be sure to not give up on yourself. We know things can be pretty stressful, and it's okay to have some feelings, but there will be a moment where you have to get back into the race. So let's get back into the race together.